The sun always seemed brighter in California. I remember the smell of freshly cut grass, the sound of kids playing in the cul-de-sac, and the way our golden retriever, Buddy, would run to the door every time my dad came home from work. My name is Emily Davis. I was the eldest of 4 daughters. My father, Robert Davis, was a civil engineer. He was a first-generation immigrant who came to America with nothing and built everything. He taught me that in this country, if you work hard enough, you can achieve anything. He taught me that family is the only thing that matters at the end of the day. He taught me to be strong. I was 17 when he died. It was a Tuesday afternoon in October. I was in my room, doing homework, when I heard my mother Sarah scream. It wasn't a normal scream, it was primal, the kind of sound that comes from a soul being ripped apart. My dad had a heart attack at work. He collapsed in the middle of a meeting. By the time the ambulance arrived, he was gone. Just like that. No goodbye. No last words. Just an empty space where my hero used to be. I walked into the living room and saw my 3 younger sisters, Jessica, 15, Ashley, 12, and Megan, 9, crying on the floor. My mother was on her knees, clutching my father's photo. I stood there, frozen. And in that moment, something inside me broke, but something else, something harder, grew in its place. I was no longer Emily the teenager. I was Emily the protector, Emily the provider, Emily the one who would hold this family together. Because I had no brothers, my mother was shattered, my sisters were children. It was all on me. The bills piled up fast. The mortgage on our 3-bedroom house in Sacramento, the car payments, the school fees, the groceries, the utilities. My mother tried to work as a receptionist, but she was barely functioning. Depression had swallowed her whole. I was a senior in high school. I had dreams. I wanted to go to UCLA. I wanted to study fashion design. I wanted to be a normal teenage girl. But normal wasn't an option anymore. I got a job at a local diner, working the night shift. I served burgers and milkshakes to strangers while my friends went to prom. I saved every penny, but it wasn't enough. Not nearly enough. So, when my aunt mentioned an opportunity in Italy, a restaurant job that paid well in euros, I made a decision that would haunt me forever. I'll be back before you know it, I told my sisters, hugging them tightly at the airport. Jessica, the second eldest, looked at me with tears in her eyes. Don't go, Emily, please. We need you here. I cupped her face in my hands. I'm doing this for you. For all of you. I'm going to make sure you have everything. I promise. Ashley, only 12, clung to my leg. Megan, just 9, didn't understand. She kept asking, "When are you coming home, Emmy?" I lied to them. Soon, I said. Very soon. My mother hugged me silently. She didn't say thank you. She didn't say she was proud of me. She just cried. I walked through the security gate. I didn't look back. I wish I had. Milan was beautiful, but I never saw it. I worked 16-hour days in a kitchen that felt like a furnace. I chopped vegetables until my fingers bled. I scrubbed pots until my hands cracked. I served food with a smile even when my feet were swollen and my back was screaming. I shared a tiny apartment with 3 other immigrants. No heating in winter, no air conditioning in summer. I ate pasta with salt because I couldn't afford sauce. Every month, I sent almost my entire paycheck back to California. I paid for Jessica's college application fees. I covered Ashley's ballet classes. I bought Megan's school uniforms. I made sure the mortgage was paid so my mother wouldn't lose the house. I missed everything. I missed Jessica's high school graduation. I missed Ashley's first ballet recital. I missed Megan learning to ride a bike. I celebrated their lives through blurry FaceTime calls and photographs my mother would send. "Look, Emmy," Megan would shout, holding up her art project. "I drew you." "You're my hero," Ashley would say. Jessica grew quiet. She stopped coming to the phone. I told myself she was just busy with college. I didn't know she was building walls against me. 1 year became 5. 5 became 10. 10 years of my life, gone. I had sent thousands of dollars. I had paid off the mortgage. I had put money aside for my sister's futures. I had done everything I promised. But I had also sacrificed my own future. I never dated. I never made real friends. I never traveled for pleasure. I had no savings for myself. I had nothing but memories of a life I had lost. But I told myself it was worth it. My sisters were thriving. My mother was safe. I had done my duty. I booked a one-way ticket back to Sacramento. I imagined the reunion, my mother crying with joy, my sisters running to hug me, long dinners filled with laughter. I imagined gratitude. I was a fool. The house looked the same. Same white picket fence, same oak tree in the front yard, same blue door I had walked through 1,000 times. But when I walked inside, the house felt cold, empty, like it didn't recognize me. My mother was sitting in the living room, watching TV. She looked up briefly. "Oh, you're back," she said. No hug, no smile, just flatness. "Where are the girls?" I asked, my voice trembling. "They'll be home later," she said, turning back to the TV. I stood there, holding my suitcase, feeling like a stranger in my own home. That evening, my sisters came home. Jessica was 25 now, a successful marketing executive. Ashley was 22, a dance teacher. Megan was 19, in college. They walked in, saw me, and nothing. No tears, no hugs, just awkward silence. Then Jessica spoke. Her voice was ice. "So, you're back." I tried to smile. "Jess, I missed you so much. I've been waiting for this moment for 10 years. She laughed. Not a happy laugh. A bitter, cruel laugh. "Waiting? You were in Italy for 10 years, Emily. 10 years. You chose to leave. You chose to miss everything. We grew up without you. And now you just show up and expect us to be grateful?" My heart shattered. "Jess, I did it for you. I sacrificed my life so you could have yours. I paid for your college. I paid for everything. Everything I did was for this family." Ashley stepped forward, her eyes burning with anger. "You think we asked for that? You think we wanted your money? We needed you, Emily. We needed a sister, not a bank account. We needed someone to hold us when our hearts broke. You were never there, not once." Megan stood in the corner, silent, tears streaming down her face. I looked at my mother, desperate for support. She said nothing. She just stared at the floor. I was alone. Jessica stepped closer. Her face was inches from mine. "You think you're a hero, don't you?" she hissed. "You think you're better than us because you sacrificed. But you didn't do it for us. You did it for yourself, so you could feel important. So you could play the victim." I felt the words like physical blows. "I gave you everything," I screamed, tears pouring down my face. "I gave up my youth, my dreams, my happiness. I worked until my hands bled. I ate bread and water so you could have steak. I had nothing." "Well," Jessica said coldly, "we never asked you to." That night, I drove to the Sacramento River. I sat on the edge, staring at the dark water, wondering if anyone would even care if I jumped in. I thought about my father. I thought about how he would have been ashamed of what his family had become. I had given them everything, and in return, they had torn me apart. For months, I was in a dark place. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I blamed myself. Maybe I should have stayed. Maybe I should have been a normal sister. Maybe I should have let us struggle together instead of carrying the weight alone. The guilt was suffocating. Then, one day, I found my father's journal. It was tucked away in the attic, hidden in an old shoebox. I opened it, expecting to find memories of his life. Instead, I found his fears. "I worry about Emily," he had written months before his death. "She carries so much weight for her age. She wants to be strong for everyone, but she forgets to be strong for herself. I hope one day she learns that she deserves to be happy too. She deserves to be loved, not just as a provider, but as a daughter, a woman, a human being." I broke down. My father had seen me. He had seen my pain. He had wanted more for me. And in that moment, I realized something. My sacrifice wasn't a mistake. My love wasn't wrong. My strength wasn't a sin. The only mistake was expecting gratitude from people who were drowning in their own grief and resentment. My sisters weren't angry at me. They were angry at themselves, at life, at a world that had taken their father too soon. I was just the easiest target. I left Sacramento again. But this time, I wasn't running away. I was walking toward myself. I moved to Austin, Texas. A fresh start, I found a small apartment, painted the walls yellow, my favorite color, and bought myself flowers for the first time. I started therapy. I started journaling. I joined a book club. I made friends, real friends who didn't need my money, who didn't want my sacrifice, who just wanted me. I started a small business selling handmade jewelry online. It grew slowly, but it was mine. I traveled to the Grand Canyon. I went to a Taylor Swift concert. I learned to laugh again. For the first time in my life, I put myself first. A year later, I got a letter from Megan, my youngest sister, the quiet one, the one who had never spoken during the confrontation. She wrote, "Dear Emily, I'm so sorry. I was too scared to speak up. Jessica and Ashley were so angry, and I didn't want to lose them too. But I lost you instead, and that was the biggest mistake of my life. I remember everything. I remember the FaceTime calls. I remember the money you sent for my school uniforms. I remember how you used to send me cute stickers in the mail. I was too young to understand what you gave up. But now I know. You gave us everything, Emily, and we gave you nothing but pain. That breaks my heart. I miss you. I want to be your sister again. Please give me a chance." I called Megan that night. We talked for hours. We cried, we laughed. We began to rebuild. Jessica and Ashley were slower to come around. Jessica wrote a long email, apologizing. She said, "I was jealous of you, Emily. I was jealous that you were so strong. I was jealous that you left and made something of yourself. I was jealous that you didn't need us like we needed you. I took my pain out on you, and I am so sorry. It took time, it took therapy, it took a lot of hard conversations. But slowly, the cracks began to heal. Today, I am 35 years old. I live in a cozy house in Austin. I have 2 cats, a garden, and a business that I built with my own hands. I have friends who love me. I have a therapist who tells me I'm not crazy. I have a sister, Megan, who is my best friend. And I have learned something that I want to share with every American out there. Your sacrifice is not a weakness. Your love is not a burden. Your strength is not a sin. But you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give everything to others and expect nothing for yourself. You are not just a provider. You are not just a protector. You are a person. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be seen. And if the people you love can't see that, maybe it's time to love yourself enough to walk away. I visit my father's grave every year on his birthday. I sit on the grass, talk to him, and tell him about my life. "You were right, Dad," I whisper. "I learned to be strong for myself too. I learned to be happy. I learned that love doesn't mean losing yourself. I hope you're proud of me. I miss you, every single day. But I'm okay now. I promise."